Welcome back to Ken Rosewell Arena. A massive game here between the Queensland Firebirds. There they are, just in their final chats, and they're up against the New South Wales Swifts at home for the very first time this season. Both of these sides still searching for their first win of 2023, and there is the lady of the hour, Romelda Aiken-George, about to take the court in her 200th National League appearance. What a moment for her, particularly off the back of moving clubs from the Queensland Firebirds, are also up against her old club. Kim Green joining me in commentary, and Caitlin Bassett on the sideline for this clash. And Kim, this stadium has certainly filled up, hasn't it? And there is plenty of excitement around this first home clash for the Swifts.
Yeah, well, the Swifts have definitely got the Red Sea here today, and they're going to be putting out a great show for their first home game, that's for sure. Now, we know this game in particular historically has been just a tight one, but if we look at the Firebirds lineup, Wallam gets that starting shooter, Mia Stour in that goal attack position, but if we have a look down the defence end, Bakewell Doran in goal defence and Remy Carmo in that goalkeeper position.
And here come the New South Wales Swifts. We'll have a look at their Woolworths team card in a minute. Here it is. Romelda Aiken-George and Housby, the captains, in the mid-court, but a switch in position. Normally see them around the other way. There's your defensive lineup. And the youngsters and the talent on the bench. Maddie Proud. There she is. Turner, a big game for mine. She is going to be where the game is won or lost against Stour. As you can see, Maddie Proud in the middle with Ali Smith just having their last little conversations, getting excited about the ball being delivered so they can get this contest underway. Romelda Aiken-George in the circle, got the footwork going, revved up. You can see Bronwyn Adams, the umpire, just making her way into the court. Jordan Kiss on the other side. And we're underway here, Ken Rosewell Arena. It's Hadley. Proud, direct to Aiken. We're going to see that a bit tonight, and particularly that sort of delivery, Kim.
A beautiful feed from Hadley straight into Romelda Aiken-George. You could see that that's who she was going for as soon as she caught it on that circle edge.
What a way to start with a little falling out of court shot, though, sending a message from Romelda Aiken-George. Firebirds, Stour into Wallam. Well, anything you can do, we can do just as well, say the Queensland Firebirds. Quick response. Hadley again will take lots of the centre passes. Housby, well, a moment, nowhere to go. Aiken-George, not unusual to see her miss from under the post, but 9 times out of 10 will get the rebound.
Yeah, a few nerves to start her off. Another miss just then.
Oh, might not have had enough breakfast. Needs a bigger of a push. There it is, over the hill. Ravalian, Stour. Needing some sort of backup. Was a dicey ball, wasn't it? Across court, Dunkley. Under pressure from Smith. And again, the 1-2 over the top to Wallam. And going to have to be strong with Clow on her, isn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. But if we take a look at this second phase for both teams at the moment, no team being able to get depth on it. And there's that high release again.
Yeah, so defensively, both sides pushing up high, trying to keep them away from the circle edge and that closer feed to the taller player.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you have a look at Hadley come through for that intercept. Because all teams are coming up second phase high, you can see already that those attackers are looking for those defensive gains.
Yeah, they're having to work overtime, aren't they? Have a look. Well, there's the confidence coming from the captain. Maddie Proud, not forgetting Romelda Aiken-George is just her 3rd game for the New South Wales Swifts. So they're feeling confident just to turn and launch it to the superstar. The 34-year-old Jamaican. Oh, none of the players rushing to get the ball, are they? Taking a moment, having a breath. Housby, first one on the board for her. Stour again. Well, back to Bakewell Doran. Ali Smith contesting everything, Kim Green.
And she is an absolute pest on that wing attack position in particular. She really goes with two hands and creates that little bit of havoc outside, especially right up near that transverse line.
Well, nice and patient, though, in attack for the Queensland Firebirds. Couple of extra passes around the top of the circle until Wallen was clear. There's Rebecca Bully, the head coach. Pressure building on her, desperate for a win.
And Firebirds doing a wall on that centre pass, so really trying to push them nice and wide. Swift's having no issue with it.
Not forgetting Caitlin Bassett, one of the goaling superstars herself on the bench for us. Have you liked the start of this game?
I am loving the patience from the Firebirds so far. They're just chipping away, working it to the circle. On the flip side, the Swifts are really giving confidence to Aiken George and letting it go long.
Well, they certainly are, aren't they? That is their direct and first look every time. And at this point, no issue in finding her. A little bit of confusion as to where the penalty is, but Aiken's just going to step right in front and take it there anyway. Sitting at 5 from 6. The most shots on court, and there's it. A little tip. Firebirds keep it, though. Bakewell-Doran. Simpson. Oh, it's in the air. Bakewell-Doran. Again, it's Ali Smith contesting.
And a little bit of a delay on that feed from Dunkley. She really wanted to see if Wallen was in the right space to give it. And there's that wall again, but jumped the line too early.
Oh, too easy. That, to me, though, is the work that Housby's doing. She's taking that beautiful front pocket of the circle, which is just pulling the defenders off a little bit.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Kath. And what she's also doing is she's doing a lot of feeds into Imelda Aiken. So they really wanted to get on her early too.
Well, it's a carbon copy. It plays up either end of the court, isn't it? The goal shooters, the dominant ones, and the ones getting plenty of ball early. Housby, we could see there what a great camera angle that was to get all the preparation work, all the prelims as we call them. Housby, quick double with Hadley. Just cheekily shuffles a little bit closer to the post. Well, interesting to see her not choose to shoot that up. Unless that's more about giving the confidence to Aiken George, but Housby can certainly drain them from that distance. Dunkley, Rebellion. Whoa, that was a long time in the air, and Sarah Clow had a good look at it. What'd you make of that pass, Kim? It was very, very high, wasn't it?
It was very high, and I think for Clow at the moment, she's really stuck on Wallam's body. If she can come off and confuse the space just that little bit more, she may have a little bit more time to actually go for it. Another beautiful feed from Housby straight into Aiken George. You can see the intent is to go straight. Have a look at it straight away.
The difference I feel with the feed down this end of the court into Imelda Aiken, that it's high, but it's been put in space. It's not just necessarily straight up and straight down. Oh, that is a beautiful take from Wallen. And a quick response from the Queensland Firebirds. Just 2 the difference. And there's Wallen's shooting stats. 8 from 8, no issue with the accuracy. And covering all areas of the court close to the post.
Housby almost running a mile to get in that front position then. A few dodges in there might have opened her up a little bit more.
Oh, Stour again. She looks like she's been undefended a couple of times. And that's causing that really easy connection into Wallen.
Yeah, she's finding second face beautifully now. I think in the first couple of minutes, a little bit of,
Oh, that looked like almost a step to me in attempt at the layup. Oh, unlucky there for the Swifts. Simpson, like a steam train down the sideline. Yeah, that's a beautiful feed. And I think a really good example of just because there's a tall goal shooter, it doesn't always have to be a high ball.
Yeah, that one was just a straight flat ball. Had to go straight away, and Dunkley did a great job of doing that, turning a hit, firing it in. Again, second phase is so easy for Stour. She's getting it nice and deep and looking straight in.
Well, keep an eye on that battle then. Where is Maddie Turner and why is Stour getting that second phase so easy? It's a swift centre pass for now, though. Housby. Direct again. Aiken. Oh, the Queensland Firebirds, the last three. They'd love to stop this one and continue that momentum. Couple of minutes away from our Power 5 in this first quarter.
There you go. You saw Maddie Turner change the positioning of her defence. Another great ball in, but she actually turned around and made Stour go back up the court as opposed to getting that depth.
I suppose the thing with the depth is you want Sarah Clow to then have a crack at that, don't you? That's the reason you force it, but she's preoccupied at the moment.
She is very occupied with Wallum, and I don't think she's ready quite yet to go and have a fly.
Swifts hanging on by just the one goal, 13-12, and there is your top scorer. Wallum, well, it was Aiken early, but Wallum has just put the foot down, hasn't she? We spoke about the importance of her dominating, getting out there and demanding ball, and she's done that early. Oh, it's going to be a long 60 minutes if they keep this scoring rate up. It is goal for goal. Oh, well, there's that ball. Sarah Clow may be coming out of the circle, and she certainly will if she recognises it early and she feels she can get to it.
Yeah, just needed to probably readjust and go a little bit earlier, go on the front side of that ball.
Here it is on the Harvey Norman replay. There she is, a harder one because she had to go around the outside of the body there. Housby, 5 from 5 to start her round 3 performance.
This is such a high-scoring game, Kath. Let's take a look at the match leaders of Manissa net points. Proud sitting at the top there, but Wallum and Stour from the Firebirds as well.
Yeah, great to see both of them, Stour and Wallum, up in that top Manissa net points. 10 seconds away from the Power 5. The Swifts. Long, smart ball to clear the mess. Over to Maddie Proud. Well, there it is. You heard the siren. So the Suncorp super shot is now in play from the white arc in the circle. And what a perfect time for a tactical timeout going the way of the New South Wales Swifts. Interesting time to call it. Don't feel like the Firebirds have necessarily put their foot down any more than they had. It has been going goal for goal. Let's have a listen to Bryony Akel.
They're dropping deep into attack 5. They're going to get going early and go for it. They're not changing their pattern and they won't. They just keep dropping deep and in. What I'm saying to you is let's go double on Chanel. Drop back but close the movement. We're a bit flat-footed. Close energy. Force them up first base. Drop back second, help out, but we're in and out. So sit on the inside, force goal attack 5. Same pattern. You want her hand? Yeah, let's go hand. Great job. Hey, we've got guys, you are building pressure beautifully, so we don't change it, we just lift energy another notch. Patience in attack, play our game. Let's go, great job. Great job. Great job. Let's go, play, let's go. Oh, shit! Let's go.
New South Wales Swifts make their way back out on court. You can see a very animated Bryony Akel in that huddle. Plenty to say, but they're looking pretty confident, aren't they? Queensland Firebirds just having their last words. Sarah Clow, oh, she knows she's got a big job on her hands now, doesn't she? Danelle Wallum shot to 15 out of 15 already in just 10 minutes of netball.
It's incredible. The fact that we're sitting on 16-15 with 5 minutes to go is, if you said, if they're going to go at this rate, they're going to be some very tired bodies out there by the end of this game.
And the super shot hasn't even been used yet, so let's just keep an eye on it. Stour, well, this won't count. Her foot just inside the circle. That's a monster rebound for Sarah Clow. Well, that's what she's got to do. If she can't stop the ball in, she's got to pounce on any misses. Oh, completely overshot the runway, that ball.
Yeah, miscommunication to Housby there on that feed. They'd be disappointed in that lead up.
Oh, what great defensive pressure, though. I can't hang on to it. Let's get down to Caitlin Bassett, though, who's in the Firebirds huddle.
I feel like there's been a little bit of rush of blood to both teams in this opening quarter, but What Firebirds talked about, Danelle was warning her attackers out the front to start using the fakes, because Sarah Clow is actually having a look and her timing is getting better at having a chew.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because we did mention she started to look at those balls outside the circle, and she certainly will more and more as the game goes on. So a really smart call from a relative rookie there in Danelle Wallam, recognising that early.
Well, and straight away they went into a closed circle. So she was in the circle with Danelle and making sure that no one could go and have a look at anything.
Helen Housby, the first Suncorp super shot attempt, and it is a good one. Well, that will please Bryony Akel. You just can't tell on the face right now. She's right in this contest. Game face on. That is a good tip from Maddie Proud. No stranger to the floorboards. Rebellion, yes, smart work. The quick double play just to open up a bit more space for Wallam, and Rebecca Bully, Lauren Brown love it. Smart swing across the circle.
Romelda running a little bit. Right at the top of the circle, decided to do that double play to get herself back underneath. Smart from Romelda.
Well, let's talk about that. In her 200th game today, and hasn't she evolved as a player since her first game? And she's had to, given the way the game's headed, but how good to see.
Well, and you've got to remember, defence is so physical on her when she's just standing underneath the post. When she starts to move a little bit, they have to come off the body. So really smart, especially against a Remy Camo that's really young. Try to see what she can, you know, hold on to and what she can't.
Well, someone holding on to the ball, and plenty of it is Danelle Wallam. 18 from 18. And a reminder, last week in the second quarter, she only had 3 from 5. So she certainly has stepped it up as the Swifts start to make some uncharacteristic errors. Just under 2 minutes left in this opening quarter.
Firebirds struggling just to get this ball down through this mid-third, but go long. That's exactly the workload from the Swifts out the front, making sure that they're really grinding their players.
Same token, the Swifts have had to take one pass back to Cloud. Now they find it up front. And 3 relative easy ones between Housby, Proud, and the 200-gamer, Aiken George. So they keep that 2-goal buffer, the New South Wales Swifts, and there's the Swifts shooting stats. No surprises, the majority going through Aiken George. And down the other end, well, it is the Wallam show at this point. Stour has had just the one attempt at a shot in this game.
But she's doing so much work out the front, Kath. So for mine, I don't think that matters that she's only had the one, but she's really doing a lot of work out the front to just free up Wallam under the post.
Well, it absolutely doesn't matter, does it? Because they're in the contest here. They're only down by the 1 goal. It may, as the game starts to move into the next couple of quarters. Well, that's another massive win here for the Queensland Firebirds. So 29 seconds on the clock. They would dearly love to take this to even, if not up by 1. This quarter break. Well, they've got even just like that, and the centre pass to follow.
And a much better transition through that mid-court, opening up Rav.
Well, Wallam getting really antsy now. She's feeling it. She wants some Suncorp super shot herself. Well, that there is the first miss of the game for Danelle Wallam. And there is the siren for the first quarter, so they cannot be separated. The New South Wales Swifts and the Queensland Firebirds 20 apiece.
Don't run to that sideline. None of that lateral shit. Get her on that angle and hit the circle edge. Nice and deep, and that's where the fake is there. If it's on, give it. Timing's beautiful. There's a lot of great stuff happening. We're mixing it up on the centre passes. It's really good. If they sit back and they isolate you, that's where you've got to work your shuffle, yeah? And we practice that, so be confident. As soon as one comes, let's look at the back one, see everything. Really good job. Circle edge.
Origin Energy quarter time here, and you just heard former Australian Diamond mid-quarter Lauren Brown with plenty to say to the Queensland Firebirds. And both sides will be very excited to get this second quarter underway. It is 20 goals apiece here at Ken Rosewell Arena. What a battle it's been in the opening 15 minutes. And I tell you what, it's going to be an exhausting game for these athletes to keep this up. Kim Green, you've just been looking through some of the stats. Any that have stuck out for you?
Yeah, there's been a couple, Kath. The centre pass conversion, both sitting at 85%, which is really high to start this first quarter. But there hasn't been many games, but the game to goal rate, Firebirds sitting on 100%, the Swifts 33%.
That's a big difference, isn't it? Well, keep an eye on that. Firebirds been pretty clinical here, but it's the New South Wales Swifts with ball in hand to start us off in the second quarter. Game one of round 3, so plenty of netball action still to come this weekend. And that connection is getting better and better every week, isn't it, between Helen Housby and Aiken George.
Back one.
Helen Housby still to miss in this game, 6 from 6 regular time, and that one beautiful Suncorp super shot. There are the stats for the New South Wales Swifts. Simpson, Rebellion. Well, she looks to the circle but couldn't find anything. Dunkley. Oh, watch the push and shove going on between Stour and Turner.
Oh, beautiful release and a layup out of court. She is on fire. You can see she has confidence this week.
There's the goal assist too. Let's get back down to Caitlin Bassett on the sideline.
Yeah, I was having a listen into the Swifts at quarter time and talking about their attacking end, just worried about getting a little bit wide. So have a look at their starting positions in this second quarter, potentially starting out wide and trying to use the middle of the court a bit more.
Yeah, so they're not anti-wide, are they? But it's about picking and choosing when they're out there and to try and centre it where possible. Well, another little steal here for the Queensland Firebirds. So a couple of quick goals for them, and they've got the centre pass to follow. Taking the lead now for the first time in this match, 22-21. And look, the vision and the confidence is up.
And that was just a well-timed pass. You could see that Clow was going out for the fly. She just waited that split moment to make sure that the pass was on and had to be spot on.
Well, have a look at that last 10 there. And there's a couple from the Queensland Firebirds right in the middle, one before quarter time, one after, and then the last 3.
Contact on the arm, keeper. Yes, there. Yes, keeper beside.
Helen Housby looking for a settler.
Firebirds.
And she gets it. Rebellion, Stour, Dunkley, again under all sorts of pressure from Ali Smith. She's been fantastic for them.
And the intent from the Swifts is to sit behind and push them up on second phase. There is no depth for the Firebirds.
Danelle Wallam, 24 from 24, just the one miss, and it was a Suncorp super shot.
Contact goalkeeper.
Romelda Rakin looking almost all of her 200 games worth there, didn't she? Looked a little tired in the gather.
I mean, the pass is not great. As we have a look at the Harvey Norman replay. Oh, maybe it was great.
Yeah, just a little contact coming from Carmo, I think she didn't really like. Well, again, though, the smarts, and it's what you pinpointed out of the huddle, Kim, as you heard Wallam say, I want the balks. Look for the balks because the players are coming off the body. And it's exactly what they're doing now, exposing Sarah Clow.
You will see Clow now try and stay back on her player for a little bit more. The next few minutes is going to be critical that she stays in play.
Yeah, burnt once is probably bad enough, but she's been burnt twice to start this quarter. Stour doing so much work off the centre pass, isn't she?
She is. She's doing such a great job, and she's really giving confidence to the players around her. You can see that she just releases really quickly. When you have a player out there doing that, it lifts everyone around her.
Well, Firebirds keeping that 2-goal buffer. The goal assists, it's now Stour and Dunkley. So 2 of the Queensland Firebirds that have crept to the top of the list. Nice little movement. Triangle, as they call it, around the circle there. Rebellion, Stour, again over the top. Well, one of the few misfeeds that we've seen
Change
to
for
Danielle
Smith.
Wallum, and there's a familiar face on the sideline, Sophie Fawns with that goal shooter bib on.
An interesting change for mine. You know, I feel like the Swifts are just starting to find their feet, but bringing on
Contact keeper.
Fawns may just bring that little bit more movement, get Carmo moving a little bit, see what she's capable of.
Beside the keeper. Beside her.
I mean, the beauty of the rolling subs is you can change at any time, so if that doesn't work, they'll quickly get back to this starting 7. There she is, just waiting for the moment. She can enter the court. Housby.
Great take on the centre pass, and look at that release.
Well, the smart release too, coming from Maddie Proud, the captain. She was in the air when she let it go. Realised that that had to be in the fingers for the briefest of moments. Well, Sarah Clow, that's a much better challenge, but that ball, it's coming down with snow on it. I don't know why it is so high. Probably the hands over starting to have some
Cloud
impact.
looked like she had it in her hands then, but, you know, it took a little bit longer.
Aiken George, another one on the board. Well, they've crept back in front here, the New South Wales Swifts, right as that change comes. There she goes, Aiken George. Here comes Sophie Fawns. Well, Clow is still out hunting, though, Kim Green.
She is, and I think because it went through that back line, she could see a free open player, and there was no other way of stopping the ball than having a crack out the front. Beautiful rebound. Disappointing that she wasn't able to keep 2 hands on it.
Got to say, even the bench for the Queensland Firebirds looks reinvigorated. They really look like they're amped for this one. Or Valiant thought she might have got away with it. Bronwyn Adams.
Well, we have a look at this box that the Firebirds are setting up. You can see that Proud goes really wide to try and split that box and create that open channel for Housby to come through the middle. Smart.
Contact goalkeeper on the left.
Well, smart work there too from Helen Housby. Almost milked that penalty, didn't she?
Sorry, go again.
Firebirds.
Oh, the best seats in the house. How lucky are these New South Wales Swifts fans? Be hard to sit and recline in a game like this, though, wouldn't it? On the edge of your seat.
Indeed.
Over the top, Simpson. Dunkley fighting through. Well, a change made in the mid-court now, so Taylor Fraser has come into the mix. And Maddie Proud just having a little sit.
With some fresh legs getting out there and actually putting some defensive pressure, Fraser gets really under people's skin. She's a little bit different to Proud in that defensive pressure in particular. Plays a little bit out on that wing defence position as well.
Let's get down to Caitlin Bassett. I'm intrigued as to wonder what she thinks of the Romelda Aiken-George sub.
Well, first of all, it took a little while for that transition to actually happen because the centre pass kept going towards the Swifts and then they were picking up balls. So poor Sophie Fawns sat on the sideline waving her hand around in the air. But great to see her out on court now. She's definitely changed the timing up in that attacking end, her movement. She's more dynamic and it just gives the Firebirds defenders something different to think about.
Oh, well, a good challenge in the air. Smith had to come up with one of those eventually. And then right back the way of the Queensland Firebirds, though. Tell you what, it looks like a completely different side, this Queensland Firebirds team this week.
It does. They really look like they're challenging in this first half in particular. It's really important to get a good start, especially against the Swifts. You know that they're going to keep grinding the whole game out. Have to stick with them.
Fawns. Her first shot is a sweet one. Here's the Harvey Norman replay. There's that challenge from Smith. How strong in the air. Well, the thing to think about too, I guess, the last couple of games, the Queensland Firebirds have had one really dominant half. In the first game, it was the first. In the second, it was the second half. So it really is going to be about consistency for them.
And that's something that they would have talked about this week leading into this game, that it's important to have a good start, but also keep transitioning that through the third quarter and fourth.
Well, another turnover. So they've got to start to put that scoreboard pressure on, though, don't they? They're getting plenty of turnover ball, but they've got to keep possession and do exactly that.
And that's where Dunkley needs to feed from. From the top, it opens up Wallum beautifully.
Great goal attack.
Well, let's talk about Danielle Wallum. Sitting pretty at the top of the Nissan net points leaders scoreboard, 51. The Firebirds scorer, you'll notice on the left of screen there at 31. 31 of those goals are Danelle Wallams. Every single one of them. So she has been unstoppable in this first half of netball. All the way back to the transverse line for the New South Wales Swifts, Housby.
This split circle defence from the Firebirds is causing havoc, especially for Fawns. And that's the result right there.
Oh, Bakewell-Doran thought she'd got away with it, didn't she? And it is all happening off the ball. Gabby Simpson just taking out Paige Hadley.
Bit of a hip and shoulder on that one.
Spare a thought for the umpires. They've got to watch where the ball is, but everything and all the shenanigans happening off it as well. There's the siren, so we're now in power 5 time. And you wouldn't imagine either side really feeling any sort of pressure to go to the Suncorp super shots.
We see Tegan O'Shannessy come onto the court as well. She had a great injection into the Collingwood game in round 1, able to really get some tips and touches there, so keep an eye on that matchup.
Fraser. Hadley. Fawns out of the circle. No one in the circle for the New South Wales Swifts. They both retreat there now. Oh, will Housby take this long-range shot? She does, and that is her second Suncorp super shot. Not forgetting Suncorp donating $100 for every Suncorp super shot scored across this season. All money raised going to the Confident Girls Foundation. Last year, over $55,000 donated. So that is the target for all the players this year to beat. In the blink of an eye, Wallam scored again. Up by 1, the Queensland Firebirds. O'Shannessy, Fraser. Housby. Well, looks to the circle, but doesn't like what she sees from Fawns.
Well, you can see the change of timing on these now. They can't just launch a ball into Imelda Aiken. They're working so much harder to get the ball there with this moving circle.
Housby again. Well, it wasn't as convincing as the first couple, but it dribbles in. Well, there's been 6 points scored from Helen Housby from super shot territory. And that is going to help their cause, the New South Wales Swifts. Wonder what's going through the mind of head coach of the Swifts, Bryony Akel. Wallam just looks unflappable at this point, doesn't she, Kim?
She does, and she keeps demanding the ball. She's putting her hand up in the air as we fight over the ball. But yeah, she's really looking strong out there, and I think she will know that she hasn't had a good start to the season. And the consistency from Stour is allowing her to do that, as we see Tegan O'Shannessy coming out and having a look outside the circle on a mid-quarter. That's what she is being brought on the court to do.
Yeah, they're almost fighting over it then, though, weren't they? Fraser and O'Shannessy. Stour waiting for something a little short, and then the long ball comes from the captain in Kim Ravalian. Well, the Queensland Firebirds up by a couple. And it is another HCF tactical timeout, the way of the New South Wales Swifts. So may just feel the momentum shifting a little here. Bryony Akel wants to put a halt to that immediately. Well, you can see already there's a lot of talk to the defenders, Kim. Yeah. Let's have a listen and see if that's exactly where she wants to focus.
Every ball, but go to jail, come back to May. Yeah? Work the middle, nice and calm, just give what you see. Don't put each other in pressure with the pockets, that's what they want. Use your fakes, go to middle. Yeah? Take a breather. Right, hands in here. Let's go, girl. Let's go, girl. Yeah, building pressure really nicely. You do exactly, it's not going to just come to you, but to build this over a whole game. Stay on your player, big hands over, stay in play, no penalties. Let's go, pressure all over down the goal.
Well, Kim Green, we just heard her say big hands over. Is that why we're seeing this substitute in defence?
Yeah, we are. We're seeing Turner go into that wing defence position. We know she's got long, rangy arms. Also, you see Clow come out of the circle into goal defence, and O'Shannessy in a preferred position back at goalkeeper. So a lot of long arms out there. The Firebirds are going to want to have to work it short, make sure they're faking the ball up in the air and then working around the body. So let's see how they go.
Well, even more importance now on getting circle edge. So keep an eye on that. The Queensland Firebirds attack line. Simpson. Oh, no real clear path. She finds Ravalian. Dunkley keeping it short and disciplined here, the Queensland Firebirds. Stour into Wallam. Wallam notches up 36 from 36.
Just incredible.
Well, not even a half a game in netball. Absolutely monster numbers. There's the sweet spot in the middle for Danielle Wallam, 20 from 20.
And that just goes to show Swifts need to push her out a little bit more. She can't be under the post. We know she's good there.
If only it was that easy.
I know.
Oh, the Queensland Firebirds bench love it though, don't they? On their feet. And another substitution made. Fraser has gone to the bench. We saw that change made earlier. Maddie Proud back on.
And this is this short, sharp placement of ball that Firebirds need to continue with. They've got Dunkley and Stour having those nice little passes together at that top of the circle.
You actually can't beat that style of netball, can you?
You
Because you
can't.
can't get the ball back.
No, and it's really, really short. If you have a look at it, it's real pinball type play. Then they can get to the top of the circle, have no hands over, and that ball goes in nicely.
Ali Smith had a great opening half. Listen to the passion coming from her. Clow. Long ball, pocket to Proud. Housby. Well, she's been rock solid from here, hasn't she? And another one notches up 4 from 4. Suncorp super shots to Helen Housby. Right in the middle, the 3 from 3 and 1 on the side. Well, slips through the fingers of Danielle Wallam. An opportunity here for the New South Wales Swifts to close the gap. 40 seconds. Well, the opportunity went begging, and it went begging very quickly. Queensland Firebirds now get themselves up by 3. Housby. Proud. Looking for someone. It's Housby that comes, as does Carmo. So there'll be a penalty just inside the circle here.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a carry on that one. Just left the ground a little late. The lead up for the Swifts is looking a little bit hard at the moment.
Last second, well, time's beaten them there, the Queensland Firebirds, but they'll be wrapped to heading into half-time. 3 goals up. It was 20 apiece in the opening quarter. That quarter 17 to 20, so the Queensland Firebirds, well, we've seen them in patches of brilliance, in half times, in similar position. It's the second half that's been the issue for them, so the next half of this game, certainly one to watch. Romelda Aiken-George. There she is. Let's get down to Caitlin Bassett with one of the Queensland Firebirds.
Lara, I feel like we're looking at a completely different Queensland Firebirds attacking end. Tell me about the connection in that attack.
Yeah, look, we've been working really hard. You know, we've had inconsistent games. We started off really well, 2 quarters in the first game and then our last 2 quarters in the second game. So we're looking at consistency and just that connection within one another, like the buddy next to you. So yeah, we've been working really hard on the connections.
We've seen your team put together 2 quarters successfully, but never 4. What do you have to do in this last half?
Oh, we just have to start 0-all again and we go again. You know, it's going to be a tough game. They always are up for the battle. So it's just going to be putting the foot down and bringing on a good second half.
Good luck for the second half.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you to Caitlin. A big thank you to Lara Dunkley. She heads to the change room, if she can find it, for a much-needed rest. Let's have a look at the match stats as they sit at half-time. Kim Crean, the shooting accuracy for the Queensland Firebirds, 91%. Have a look at the turnover rate too. Boy, they've been clinical.
Yeah, they sure are. Only 5 for a half of game of netball is incredible. We look at the Swifts, they're sitting at 10. So a bit of work to do for the Swifts if they're going to keep up with the Firebirds. But yeah, the penalty is there. You can see 23 to 20. It's right in there. That's a tight game, but the second half is going to be epic.
The second half is going to be all important, isn't it? Don't forget the halftime show is coming up. And then, of course, right after that, the battle we've all been waiting for. It's the Sunshine Coast Lightning at home to the Adelaide Thunderbirds. You don't want to miss that. The Australian goal shooters, Conan Wood, up against the Jamaican defenders, Sterling and Wilson.
Welcome back to Fox Netball, where Ken Rosewell Arena is playing host to a long-running interstate rivalry, and that is living up to the hype. Scores were locked at 20 apiece between the Swifts and the Firebirds. The Firebirds hit the lead early in the second quarter, and they take a narrow but comprehensive 3-goal lead into the break at halftime. I'm joined in commentary now by Kath Cox and Kim Green. Ladies, we're excited to see what these teams were going to show us today because we know they're desperate for a win. What have you made of the first half, Kim?
So strong. I've absolutely loved what they've put out there. To think that they've gone 20 goals almost every quarter already, it's going to be a very tiresome match for the players.
Yeah, I mean, I'm exhausted already. I don't know how they're feeling. Well, there they are in the change room. They look like they're enjoying that rest hand.
Let's get into the first half highlights now, and there is so much to unpack between milestones. So I guess let's start with Romelda Aitken-George, and she had hot hands from the very beginning, Kath.
Yeah, she did. It was obvious, wasn't it? The path that they were going to take, it was via her. That was her first shot of the game, the falling out of court. We talked a lot about that combination between Housby and Aitken-George, and you could see that start to grow, the understanding they're starting to gather, but we also saw Helen Housby start to shoot some of those Suncorp super shots. They weren't scared of making a change, though. Aitken-George did come off the court there, and young Sophie Fawns went in there. And I thought that sparked a little bit more movement in the circle, and probably what they needed, but I don't know that it necessarily worked as well as Aitken-George did.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that having that focal point underneath the post is really important for the Swifts, and as soon as they brought Fawns on, they didn't have that.
What about for the Firebirds attack? And that was, of course, headlined by Danelle Wallum, who, as you mentioned in the call, growing in confidence as today's game wore on, leaving rounds 1 and 2 well behind her.
Oh gosh, she was good in this first half, but I also love the fact that Stour, Dunkley, Ravellian, all of them were sitting out the front, willing to give that ball straight away to her, giving her that confidence. Look at that ball straight in, you know, almost in the air and having to flick it through. Again, Dunkley going straight to the source. That is a team that has confidence, and the fact that they've been able to turn that around from last week's game is impressive.
Yeah, it's hard not to mention Wallum when she's got 38 of the 40 points on the scoreboard, is it? But as Kim Green just mentioned, an impressive half. The real test for me is what they produce in this second half, because that's where they've really been inconsistent and a little hot and cold this season.
And that's exactly what Lara Dunkley told Caitlin Bassett going into the sheds at halftime and into the change rooms of pictures we are getting now live and exclusive here on Fox Netball. Danelle Wallum taking and holding centre court there as she communicates to her team what they need to do in the second half. But Kim, as a mid-quarter, you take a look at what Lara Dunkley was throwing out there in the first half. Why do you think today was a change compared to the previous weeks we've seen?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think she did get a little bit of space early from Smith, which allowed her to get her eye in for those feeds. But she just was keeping it nice and shot. Her second phase was beautiful. Centre pass receives 14 and goal assist 15 for half a game is pretty impressive. But she's staying well in there. The Nissa net point sitting at 60.5. But she's got a lot of confidence. She's passing from on the circle edge when need be, but also launching him in if it's there.
It really is about reading the play that's happening in front of them, and I think the choices that they've made in ball delivery has been exceptional in that opening half.
So you speak of ball delivery, that's where I wanted to take you. At times during the call, you both had mentioned that the ball was sitting up high and getting fed quite high, but it wasn't like it was aimlessly thrown around. There was some strategy behind it, Kath.
Yeah, I feel like those high balls were almost forced by the hands over coming from the New South Wales Swifts. So you saw the change up in the play, and that the Firebirds started to come a lot closer together. It was a lot shorter, the ball delivery. That means they can just chip away down the court. They get it to the circle edge and they can deliver without any hands over. So that's where they started to really win out and started to get themselves in a much better position. They'll be wrapped with 3 goals in front heading into this next half.
We're looking forward to the second half consistency for the Firebirds, but Bryony Akel, despite being 3 goals down at halftime, she's not going to be worried, is she, Kim?
No, I don't think so. I think Bryony is super measured when she comes to her team, and they are playing good netball, but at the moment it's those little moments, those critical moments in the game to be able to take that momentum. They just haven't taken it with 2 hands. So I think she'll be talking about that in the halftime break, and then coming back on, they'll come out firing.
Everyone here at Ken Rosewell Arena are netball fans, and Suncorp would like to know why netball is important to you, and you're able to let them know by submitting your entry to a competition. Now, all you have to do is send a video or an image of you and your club, and you can scan the QR code that will appear on your screen for your chance to win a family membership to the Suncorp Super Netball Club of your choice in the 2024 season. Now, that was Zoe Garraway's entry. Netball for her isn't just about winning, though. It's everything in between. The lessons learned from teamwork and leadership to the friends made and all the memories from the beginning to the end. Netball is her life, ladies. I think we can all agree, and she just wouldn't be the person she is today without it. All right, we're heading into the second half right after this. Just 3 goals separate the New South Wales Swifts and the Queensland Firebirds, the visitors, looking for their first championship points of the season. They take a narrow 3-goal lead into the break. Second half is getting underway next. And don't forget, Pivot wraps up every round of Suncorp Super Netball season at full time of the final game of every round.
Half-time here in Sydney, and it's not the scoreline the New South Wales Swifts would have liked. The Queensland Firebirds up by 3 goals, 40-37. There is Romelda Aiken-George playing in her 200th National League game today. The Swifts in their final huddle will make their way onto court. Kim Green in commentary with me, Caitlin Bassett on the sideline. Kim, I want to quickly ask you about the matchup that we talked about at the start of the game. It was Sarah Clow and Danelle Wallam. How have you seen that play out?
Oh, well, Wallam is definitely dominating this matchup. 38 from 39 at 97%. Clow has been shifted out to goal defence, and she's only had 1 deflection for the game, so she has been completely out of it.
Certainly a big task on her hands. Danelle Wallam in complete control of this game with 38 of the Queensland Firebirds, 40 goals. Stour has been solid. Over the top to Wallam. Well, the big step in, but Sarah Clow was there just as quickly. She forces the miss. Can't get that rebound, though. Danelle Wallam sitting first for offensive rebounds, and that is exactly why. Let's get down to the head coach of the New South Wales Swifts, Bryony Akel. Bryony, your first home game, you must be rapt to be back in this stadium. The Firebirds putting it to you, though. Is this what you expected from them?
Yeah, absolutely what we expected from them. They're a great team and got plenty of fire in their belly. So for us, we've got to grind this last 30 out in front of our fans.
And Bri, the Firebirds have only shown half a game of netball so far this season. Is that something you talk about at halftime?
No, not really. I think for us, we've just got to play a lot better netball for the rest of the game rather than relying on Firebirds to drop their game.
And
like
we've seen,
that ball.
Oh, sorry, Brian. We've seen the change up of Turner out to wing defence, Clow out to goal defence. We've seen that a couple times this year. What is the reasonings behind that?
I think Turner reads the game beautifully, and we're just getting a bit more height with Tegan in that circle.
Thanks for your time, Bryony. We'll leave you to it. All the best for the second half.
Thank you.
Oh, she looks quite happy, doesn't she? Smile on her face, all very relaxed. We'll see if that stays the same. The Queensland Firebirds out by the 4 goals. Romelda Aiken-George, though, brings it back to the 3. So we saw the little change up in the shooting circle for the Swifts, but they've gone back to the way they started. Wallam, another long, confident ball over the top.
And it's the release, it's the timing of it. It is straight away. Gives O'Shaughnessy no time to get her feet underneath her.
Well, Carmo did exceptionally well, didn't she? Had to cover a couple of players, tries to get herself back in the circle. Aiken-George, another one. Kim, talk to me about, though, the Queensland attack line. If Danelle Wallam has taken 41 of your 43 goals, do you double defend her solidly the entire time, but stay that way? I can see they're doing a bit of a split circle, but do they just stay there wholly and solely and let Stour shoot the game out? Is that an option?
Well, it is an option. It brings that opportunity to see if Stour can step up to the plate. So by sitting back, it does forces her hand. So the thing that Firebirds are doing really well, though, are they're swinging the ball and giving angles. So just then you saw they swing to Dunkley into the pocket. It opened up that space. So if the Swifts are going to do that, they have to stay really tight on that defence.
And really commit. Okay, we'll keep your eye on that. Netty fans as Aiken-George gets another one under the post. So 3 the difference here. Queensland Firebirds got themselves in front for the first time in that second quarter, and they've managed to stay there as again they launch. Oh! Well, I can't say I have ever seen anything quite like that. What a game game-changing move from Donnell Woolham. Now, if that doesn't, have a look at this on the Harvey Norman replay. She's falling out of court, doesn't even sight the goalpost and drops it.
She is here to play.
Wow, she's feeling it, and if that doesn't fire up this purple side, nothing is going to. Wow, put that on your highlights reel over and over again. Donnell Woolham, a bag full of tricks here at Ken Rosewall Arena.
I can't get
I
over
actually
that.
want to see the replay again myself. I just can't get my head around that one. Here's the score lines we were talking about. Woolham, the lead scorer for the Queensland Firebirds by far and away. And it's a far more balanced shooting circle for the New South Wales Swifts. One more time for all those at home. The Harvey Norman replay. The juggle, the look away.
Oh,
and
the
there's
passion.
that face we've seen before, haven't we? I believe it's when she won the test match for Australia up in Newcastle. Stour, well, not going to shoot it, is she, when she's got such an on-fire target like Donnell Woolham. Takes the shorter option, though. That's just her third goal of this game. 4 goals in front, the Queensland Firebirds. Housby, back to Clow. Turner, Clow again, really took them a while to penetrate, didn't it? Now they find Aiken George.
And there was that quick release from Maddie Proud that the Firebirds are doing, but the placement wasn't quite there.
Rebellion back to Bakewell Dorans through the mid-court pretty quickly, and then another long ball. That has come from the centre third, Kim Green. That is the sort of confidence we're talking about coming from this Queensland Firebirds attack line. Have a look here, the Harvey Norman replay. Apologies, just inside the goal third, off the hand of the captain.
It's just confidence, Kath.
Complete and utter confidence. How do the New South Wales Swifts even begin to stop it is the real challenge. Well, if they can't stop it, Kim Green, they have to make 100% sure. O'Shaughnessy! Oh, they're doing the best they can here, the New South Wales Swifts, but they can't hang on to it. But they have to score off every single one of their centre passes, don't they? They've really got to be clinical.
They do, and that was a box setup without allowed O'Shaughnessy to come and have a look outside. Cloud getting back into the circle, so potentially doing that a little bit more to confuse that space.
Well, she's not necessarily known for her defensive prowess, but I want to get down to Caitlin Bassett on the sideline. What do you think they need to do here, the Swifts defenders?
Excuse me, Catherine Cox. Look, I think it's exactly that. It's confusing the space. It's about getting off the body and trying to get the ball before it gets down to Donnell Woolham, because she is absolutely unstoppable in that circle tonight. The Swifts defenders aren't going to out-jump her, so how can they stop the ball before it gets near her?
Yeah, great point you make. The pressure is now on those out the front to slow it down. They get it back to 2, though, here, the New South Wales Swifts, and they have the centre pass to follow, so an opportunity to get that 4-goal gap back to the 1. Showing some patience. They work it in a little closer, so this will be... Whoa. Spoke too soon. Hit the front of the ring there. This will be back to 1 goal. They did that relatively quickly, the New South Wales Swifts.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the Firebirds do now that Swifts have a little bit of momentum. Nope, they still go over the top.
Well, it was a couple of really fast, flat balls that opened up Woolham again, wasn't it? You spoke about that being the way they've been able to do it. Have a look at those shooting stats. Wow, and there's still a bit... This could be a ginormous individual score for Donnell Woolham. Dare I say, a record score. Carmo, well, she has had a few little tips and touches in this quarter. Can't pull it in, though. Dunkley, Rebellion. Well, you talk about building pressure defensively. They don't want players out of play, do they? And it continues to fly over the top of the Swifts defenders and into Wallam. See Fraser on again in that wing attack position. So Hadley having a little time on the bench. Another one over the top, though, to Aiken George. And a reminder, if you've just joined us, Aiken George playing in her 200th National League game today. Only 12 players to have done it. Dunkley, Stour, smart double play.
And a couple of fakes in there too, Kath, just to release that pressure just for a moment.
Well, Kim Green, I know we're only a few, well, not nearly 10 minutes through this third quarter, and my query was, have the Queensland Firebirds gotten rid of their second half issues? They've been good for one half and not for the other. I think they have, going on what we've seen.
They certainly have. I know the score is really tight, but the momentum here is with the Firebirds still. It is easy to score. They're finding that space. Rav just then says to Stour, you need to look at Danelle Wallam. The confidence to be able to just give that is really important, and that they have to stick that within their game.
Yeah, it is just one goal the difference, but you can definitely feel the momentum the way of the Queensland Firebirds, and if she pots that, it's just going to continue, isn't it? Long range shot there from Stour. Just over 20 seconds from the power 5. Proud. Aiken George, back to Proud. Little double. Helen Housby, well, she was almost tempted to wait 11 seconds, wasn't she? And take that super shot. She'll go with the one.
And smart work from Housby. You just got to keep taking those ones and keep creating that space on that front cut.
There it is, the siren, and there it is, another ball straight over the top to Danelle Wallam. And look where Kim Ravalian and Dunkley have got themselves on the Nissan net points board.
And not surprising.
Not at all. Housby, yeah, wants to get herself in the white paint, doesn't she? She's hot from there. 4 from 4 Suncorp Super shots for Helen Housby. Well, the penalty's inside there, though. Will she take it? No, she desperately wants to get herself out there. She knows she's hot from that distance. Helen Housby, can she sink another? Well, she can't, but she'll get another shot at it. This will bring them back to level if she can sink it. She can't. Where's the rebound?
Oh. Imelda Aiken coming in just to give it a tip. That's called for contact.
Yeah, it was a big whack at the ball, wasn't it? So Jordan Kiss, the umpire, saying take the penalty back. It was actually a contact. Bakewell Doran. Oh, Fraser read it beautifully through the middle. Call me crazy, Kim Green. I don't know what the issue was with that challenge. It looked clean.
Yeah, I'm not too certain on that one too, Kath. I think that she was in front.
We'll see if we can pick it up again on our Harvey Norman replay. Here it comes. Straight through the middle, it looks.
Yeah, it was a bit late on that one.
That's why we're not umpires.
Correct.
Ball was in hand, late challenge, Dunkley.
And there's that double play to the top of the circle again. Stour just being smart on that swing.
Stour playing a very, very smart game of netball here this afternoon in Sydney.
And Danelle backing her up, allowing her to do what she needs to do at the front. If she misses, I've got your rebound.
Housby, Fraser, quick ball, again the pocket to Proud. She's been there a fair bit this game. It's not been an issue. Bakewell Doran down, slow to get up.
Oh, Remy Calmo.
Oh, there is certainly some sweaty bodies out there. They are working overtime here, the Swifts and the Queensland Firebirds. So much at stake in this clash. A reminder, both of these sides still searching for their first win. One of these sides will take it today. Again, still some queries over the slipperiness of the floor, so the players will just take a minute here, have a big deep breath while we get this addressed. For the difference, And 2:32 to go in this third quarter. You see Paige Hadley in the back of play standing up. There's your score breakdown, was even. And then that's when the Queensland Firebirds took control in that second quarter. So the New South Wales Swifts Firebirds throw away a ball.
And this is where the momentum has to change. You have to score from those ones. Firebirds sent a pass though.
Well, 2 minutes to go. Dunkley breaks through. Rebellion. You can see Wallam with a hand up, desperately wanting the ball. Why would you not? On fire here this afternoon. They keep that 4-goal buffer. Tanel Wallam, 52 from 55. Helen Housby, it's in, it's good, it makes a difference to the scoreline. Bryony Akel, Nat Avellino, they like it. The New South Wales Swifts, apologies, back to 2.
And we know the Swifts are great at a last quarter comeback. So if they can just keep in distance of this Firebirds team, that last quarter is going to be a cracker.
Housby. Well, smart little balk, wasn't it? But doesn't want to take it, Romelda Rakin-George, and nearly missed the opportunity. Helen Housby wants another couple and gets it back to 1 goal. Helen Housby, 6 from 7 Suncorp super shots.
She's a big player, isn't she? Oh, and so is Stour and Wallen. That connection. They have to break it.
Oh, Fraser, a little bit of juggling. 20 seconds left here. Plenty of time for the New South Wales Swifts. They certainly don't want to stuff around with it, though. Got to keep it clean. Smart work from the Firebirds. Gabby Simpson, seasoned campaigner, throwing in a little penalty. Eats up seconds. Helen Housby. Oh, that'll probably do it. They're going to run out of time here. The Swifts. A bit of confusion as to what's happening here. It is a penalty, so Helen Housby will have the last shot of this quarter. So gets them back to 1. The New South Wales Swifts trailing just the 1 to the Queensland Firebirds. This sets us up for an absolute blockbuster final quarter here at Ken Rosewall Arena. And let's hope there's plenty more of that action coming from Tanel Wallam.
Watch it. Loose balls, hunger for the ball, pull it in. Help these guys out in deep. Goal attack and we attack. We need some little tips through the midcourt. Let's go. Come on, everything. Everything. We've got this, guys. Let's go. Oh, Smith!
Three-quarter time here, brought to you by Origin Energy. Ken Rosewall Arena is getting set for a massive final quarter. Both the teams coming out on court now, just one the difference. The Queensland Firebirds up over the New South Wales Swifts. And let me give you something to keep an eye on. Tanel Wallam, currently sitting on 54 goals, is 16 goals away from the record individual score in this competition. And she's got 20 in the first, 18 in the second, and 16 in the third, so it is completely doable. Stour, Rebellion, back to Stour. Short ball to find Dunkley, and Stour again. Well, she hasn't taken many shots, but keen to back herself in. That's a big win for the Swifts, though, at a good time, Kim.
It is, and that's that defensive structure of having that double defence on that on Wallam at the goal post. So makes Stour have to have a shot. Beautiful long feed down that left-hand side of the court.
Talk to me about chase position as opposed to being in front in a moment like this, Kim Green. Which one's easier?
Oh, you know what? I think chasing
Yeah,
is
I would
easier.
agree. I would agree.
Trying to keep hold of possession is always harder, especially in this last quarter, and especially against the Swifts.
Well, the New South Wales Swifts are the team in chase position. It's only going to be one goal, though, and they'll get themselves back onto level peggings.
Kath, I want to talk about a centre pass tactic that Bryony Apel has clearly put into place. They want Dunkley on the first phase. In that last quarter, she had 12 centre pass receives, and then also Stour only had 1. So they're making her get first phase so she doesn't get second.
Well, there's plenty to keep an eye on, isn't there, in this final 15 minutes. Danelle Wallam gets this, and then she's only 15 away from that record score. And if you're at home wondering who that record score was, you probably don't have to think too far. Janelle Fowler, that was in round 12 of 2020. And it was up against the New South Wales Swifts too. Housby, the dish off. Doran. Dunkley. You can see Rebellion pointing back. Wasn't any options up front. Now there are plenty, though.
One step back, I'll keep a step forward.
Danelle Wallam, little step in, and another one on the board for her. So sitting at 56 goals now. That target she's chasing, 70 goals. Individual goals. There she is, top of the list there by a long shot. Helen Housby, the next best at 29. Aiken George. Oh, just dribbles in. So they keep it within 1, the New South Wales Swifts.
Oh, smart by Dunkley, just using her body and showing the umpire that Turner was right behind her.
I can't talk to you enough. Oh, Clow, that is a massive win because she's been getting those touches, Kim, but hasn't been able to keep them in.
And let's take a look at how Swifts respond on this. They haven't been great on their turnover conversion.
Look at the deflections, though. The New South Wales Swifts, I mentioned there's been a lot of tips and touches, but being able to turn it into solid ball and then convert. And this one, surely the bottom of the net for Helen Housby. It does, and they are back to level. Listen to the stadium. Housby. Aiken George. Not afraid of that distance. Helen Housby certainly likes it, and she takes another. And this is when players like her really step up, don't they, Kim Green? She loves these moments. Have a look at that last 10. And another huge win. So you can see the cracks starting to form. You mentioned the Firebirds were the ones being chased, and that's that extra pressure.
And we know the Swifts are good at a last quarter. We've said it time and time again. So this momentum, they need to keep on that train. There's no let up now.
Well, can the Premiers put the foot down here and bury the Queensland Firebirds in this final quarter? That is a very strong take from Aiken George. Smart work, Paige Hadley, just telling Helen Housby to shuffle back a bit closer. Well, just like that, the Swifts up by 2. And the centre pass to follow. Similar sort of shooting stats, very different to what we're seeing from the Queensland Firebirds. Helen Housby, wow, oh, Bakewell Doran.
And we haven't spoken much about Bakewell Doran tonight, but she has been like the tightest little pest on Housby.
Oh, another shove in the back there. So really starting to see some physicality coming between Carmo and Aiken George.
Or is this the time to have a timeout for the Firebirds?
Kim Green, you should be a coach. Here it is, the HCF tactical timeout going the way of the Queensland Firebirds, but they are up and about. Have a look at Kim Ravalli and Gabby Simpson. They're high-fiving like they're the ones in front here, and this is a timeout that's been forced upon the Swifts. Let's have a listen to the head coach, Rebecca Bully.
So attackers fight a lot, defenders come down here with you.
Yeah, we don't have force.
Be brave. We can't go from keep our feet in front because they're just getting the front cuts on it. But they're dropping their shoulder, so we're just going to stay up tall and keep moving our feet in front so we can contest. We don't want those penalties though, okay? Particularly Helen. You get in front, she'll work to get in front of you. So keep getting in front, but don't look slow. Remember, you want to keep the shoulders in front, okay? That one that we can get is that half back down. And we're so close. If you can get on that edge of the circle as well, get it handy on that half down. Yeah, what a record. Do you want that to flood down? Yeah. Flooding in.
Well, there you have it, Beck Bully in the HCF tactical timeout, asking her defenders to stay tall, don't drop the shoulder, stay in play. It's imperative to stay in play. But the positivity from Beck Bully, it was impressive.
Players had plenty to say too then in that huddle, didn't they? There is the reason for that timeout. The New South Wales Swifts, the last 5 goals in a row scored. Queensland Firebirds will want to get a settler here to stem the flow a little, and they do through Danelle Wallam.
And the worst thing that the Firebirds can do now is go away completely from the game plan that has got them into this position in the first place.
Here's the score breakdown, quarter by quarter. And it really has been all about the Firebirds. At halftime there, started to shift a little.
And here's that box, Kath, enticing the Swifts to throw that long ball. It got there this time, but the Firebirds could get it the next time. We could take a look at that Harvey Norman replay. Hadley, the beautifully placed ball to Aiken George.
Keen to get down to Caitlin Bassett on the sideline and ask her a very tricky question. Who wins it from here?
Look, I'm calling the Swifts. I think the crowd has really picked up. They're like an extra member out on court, but fascinating to see in that last timeout, Paige Hadley and Romelda Aiken-George actually still talking about ball placement, because let's remember, they haven't played together very often, so fascinating to see them talking about the best place to put the ball out there.
Yeah, very good point you make. It looks like Aiken-George has been here forever, doesn't it? And while she has played 200 games as of today, 197 of them were with the Queensland Firebirds. There she is, the lady of the hour, Aiken-George, and another one on the board for her.
Well, a war from the Firebirds to start off this centre pass.
Straight through the middle. What a ball, what vision from Paige Hadley to Helen Housby.
And what Housby's doing really well on that wall, she's sitting back nice and deep so that they don't have anyone to defend on that second phase. They're so far off her that she can come through that middle easily.
And then it's an easy ball over the top, isn't it? Because everybody's up high. Stour, Dunkley, Wallam. Getting all confused by my shooting superstars up each end of the court. Well, Wallam's been slowed down considerably though, hasn't she? We talked about the firepower in this fourth quarter. Just 3 goals so far for Danelle Wallam.
Ball getting there so easily, Kath. And that's because the Swifts are being a little bit more patient, keeping it nice and short and then releasing when it needs to.
What a turnaround in this final quarter. The New South Wales Swifts up by 5. Wallam adds another one to the list. Just under 7 minutes remaining and a couple of minutes away from the Power 5. Aiken-George out of the circle. Right in the guts of Paige Hadley. George takes another and keeps that 5-goal buffer. Well, don't forget, after this one, there is a massive game coming to you live from the sunny coast. It's the Sunshine Coast lining up against the Adelaide Thunderbirds. And talk about matchups, that game will have plenty. Stour, Dunkley, back to Stour. Doesn't want to shoot it. Maddie Proud will challenge everything. Both these sides desperate to get their first win of the season. Stour cleans up the rebound. Just her 5th goal. But she's been so good in all the work out the front and the assists.
She has, but has dropped off on that shot a little bit in the last 2 attempts. So if I was the Swifts, I would be making her shoot as much as possible.
Carmo says, get that out of here. Gabby Simpson gets it right down to that transverse line in the blink of an eye. Rebellion. Stour, there she is. Rebellion again. Maddie Proud, well, she's relentless, isn't she? And the New South Wales Swifts come up with the crumbs.
And look at this transition, Kath. It's almost 3 balls and was into the attacking third.
Well, the contact penalty, the only thing that slowed the New South Wales Swifts down on that play. There it is for the last time in this game. The siren for the power 5 for Aiken George. A couple of missed shots, a couple of rebounds. Finally, she finishes it off. Here's the Harvey Norman replay. Have a look at Maddie Proud. Will not give up. Kim Green, what are the Queensland Firebirds here? Do they take the Suncorp super shots? Do you feel like they're in that sort of position too?
They're going to have to, Kath. They're going to have to stay in this game. You look at Housby on the other end. She'll be going for those super shots, no doubt. So there's only one option for the Firebirds.
Particularly if they allow the Swifts to continue to score. 5 now is the difference. Oh, Proud! And Maddie Proud again, the captain. Will not let this 4 points go anywhere but their change room.
And that is why she's the captain of this team, because in those moments, there's been 3 moments and she's completely shifted momentum for them.
Look at Bryony Akel. She's almost in a little bit of awe of the brilliance of her team right now. Smith, Hadley, Clow. Well, through the hands of 3 defenders pretty quickly. And now your Nissan Net Points match leaders. A couple of the New South Wales Swifts, Helen Housby at the top. Has been brilliant. She's kept them in touch with that long-range shooting. And she's really started to lift in terms of her individual stuff now. Seven the difference. Well, you're right, Kim. The Queensland Firebirds, particularly now, really need to drain some of these Suncorp super shots.
Great work from Stour on that one.
Well, a couple of missed opportunities from Danelle Wallam. So the New South Wales Swifts can really, really start to put the pressure on. There's your score breakdown. Have a look at this final quarter. After being relatively consistent there, the Queensland Firebirds have only scored 7.
Any team looking at this game will know that they have to be in front by at least 10 against the Swifts.
Oh, even 10 makes me nervous. You're so right, though. The Suncorp Super Shot plays a big part in it, doesn't it? How quickly teams can score, get themselves back in the contest. Romelda Aiken, arm in the air. The New South Wales Swifts the last 4 in a row. Kim Rebellion is fired up. She can see this win slipping through her fingers.
Yeah, she'll be disappointed with this last quarter, that's for sure, Kath.
Yeah, Romelda Aiken saying to herself, finish it off, flick the fingers. What a moment for her against her old club. Let's not forget that. In her 200th game. What a moment.
Oh.
Maddie Proud again, and Ellie Smith too. No, it's been called back. The crowd didn't like it. Stour, these have got to start falling. That's one. One back for the Queensland Firebirds, a Suncorp super shot. The 7th of the game. Eight the difference here with a minute to go. Surely it's home and hose for the New South Wales Swifts. Well, Romelda Aiken-George wants to keep us on the edge of our seats, doesn't she? Down the court pretty quickly. Yeah, well, would have stepped if she'd put her foot down. She knew that, so it looked a little awkward. Stour, can she sink another? She does. Little too late though, you would imagine, coming from the Queensland Firebirds. They do have the centre pass here, 23 seconds to play. It's going to have to be a Suncorp super shot, nothing less at this point.
And it has to go to Stour.
Yeah, running out of precious seconds though, aren't they? Well, she sinks it. Gets them back to 3, but it'll be little too late. And there it is, the first win of the season as the red dress swiftly bags those 4 points at home today. A very happy Romelda Aiken-George, knows these Queensland Firebirds players so well. They'll do their final handshakes and come together. Bakewell Doran, Helen Housby. Let's have a quick look at the match stats at the end of that game. What a ripper it was from the moment it started, goal for goal.
Yeah, taking a look at that shooting accuracy, you can see there's nothing in between them. The gains, 9 to the Swifts, 4 to the Firebirds. And as we saw, the Firebirds were sitting on 5 turnovers at half-time, 9 in that second half. So that's where they had lost that match. Time in possession, Swifts playing around a little bit more, 54% to 46%.
What an absolute cracker of a game here to start us off round 3. The final score, 74, the New South Wales Swifts to 71, the Queensland Firebirds.